My name is Brad Jackson. I'm originally from Northwest Kansas. I was in the military for 9 years. I was in the United States Navy. When we first started racing, I really knew nothing about sailing, but it was just basically a learning experience from the beginning. Every Thursday we'd race and I'd learn something new every time, and eventually got to the Spud Cup and we did really well. The team dynamic is definitely the number one thing about it. Just having people that are interested in the same thing and as motivated as you are, and being able to compete with them is a pretty amazing thing. Sailing with Dog Smile Adventures would be good for anybody, especially veterans that are dealing with any kind of issues that stem from their military service. Just being out on the water is just therapeutic in itself, and most veterans are pretty competitive. So being able to get on the water and race and be competitive, it's definitely helped me out. I think it's a new found passion for me. I definitely am going to be looking forward to every season coming out here and sailing as much as possible and getting on the boat.
Without knowing what Idaho had to offer, I moved out here in May of 2019 and I never looked back. All of the things I do now, I've never done in my entire life. I grew up in not the best childhood, and not the best area, so I found myself being the most at peace outside. Even growing up, it would be at a forest preserve. It was just enough for me to get out there and just be able to just be quiet and hear nothing. I think it's huge to be able to sit in your silence and not be uncomfortable with it. I was able to get out on one of the sailing racing evenings, and it was refreshing, and it was very hands-off from you. I feel like it was more of us being able to kind of learn and figure out while having your assistants there. You kind of just let us do it. The competition wasn't the end goal for you. It was to help us learn, which I thought was huge.
What types of people do you think could benefit from sailing with Dog Smile?
Everyone. I think sailing is one of those things that anybody can do, and I think it's huge that you're offering that. The atmosphere and the environment you have created is just a very welcoming, full-hearted, open, accepting place, and it's a safe place. And I think that anybody who is slightly considering it, just do it.
Awesome.
Yeah, just kind of get uncomfortable and get out there. If you didn't grow up doing these outdoor activities and it kind of scares you, that's the biggest thing that you should be doing, is getting out there and getting uncomfortable, because that's where you're going to find yourself. And that's really about it. That's what I've done my entire life, and moved 1,700 miles away to do it. And I'm building my life out here.
I don't know how to sail. I'm scared to death of water most of the time, but they got me out here and I tried it out. It just did a lot for me. Instead of stressing me out like a lot of things do, I've been known as a ball of stress, especially within college setting. This is like where I can come out and break away from it and feel relaxed. Just feel the boat move and the wind push it along and stuff. It's really calming for me. The relaxation that it's given me, like the stress-free environment that it provides for myself, like I just want to share that with others. Something else that like I really think it'd be helpful for people is just getting outdoors more, and like for those who aren't necessarily able to walk up and down trails or go kayaking, like this is a good opportunity. You can come, you can hang out on the boat, not move very much, and still participate in the activity of sailing the boat. Best part is just kind of finding out a new sport, I guess you could say, that I'm interested in. Has it changed my life? Yes. It's something that I really continue to want to do, and I've even talked to John a little bit about like, hey, you know, how do you get in with other groups, and like what possibilities are there, other places in the world to go sailing. for me, from being from a little landlocked state of Idaho in the middle of the farm fields, and then being able to come out on this, it's like, holy cow, there's a whole new world that I've never even dreamed of. And finding that and pursuing that is something that I want to do as a hobby moving forward.
I'm Cyan Froney. I'm 23. I'm a student here at NIC in the Outdoor Rec Leadership Program. I did take a sailing class this summer and really enjoyed it.
How'd you find Dog Smile? How did that happen? And what was your experience with my program this summer?
Yeah, Terry mentioned it a little bit in the sailing class, and then Joe was actually the one that was like, you should totally try it. And I was like, oh, I don't have any experience. I don't know. He's like, no, like just go out and try it. And it was probably the best way I could have spent a good amount of my summer. I would get so excited to go out on Wednesdays. Going into it, I thought it was going to be a lot more overwhelming than it was, but it was really just like going out there on Wednesday nights, having fun with the crew and getting to know it.
It always landed on a day that was like extremely stressful for me. And so I'd be like, okay, I gotta leave all of that on the dock and I need to be on this boat and like be focused and like not fall off. And it was just so like cathartic for me to be able to focus on something other than the chaos of my life over the summer. I got to try cabin top and foredeck. When you were on vacation or something, I got to drive, which is pretty exciting.
When you think about therapeutic recreation, what comes to mind?
Yeah, I mean, when I just think of recreation, like that is my therapy. It's like being outside, away from all the distractions of like everyday life.
My mind gets a break when I'm able to do the outdoor recreation activities, especially sailing. I think with sailing specifically, I learned a lot about how racing and the boat's mechanisms are to our own lives. Like several times when we were out racing and you're like, okay, move like a little bit further forward and like, oh, we need to leave this on the dock and like all this stuff, like getting weight out of the boat and shifting weight around is like, I was like, dang, this is like so personal to my own life, because it's like, what am I focusing on and what weight am I putting into things that I don't need to put that much attention on? And so I think the more time I spent out on the boat and the more time I spend in the outdoors, the more I'm able to be aware of the areas of my life where I'm giving too much attention and too much heed, and I can rearrange that and cut those out and throw them overboard, or really focus on them.
Awesome. That's really thoughtful. So moving beyond this summer, do you think that your experience with Dog Smile is going to influence your future sailing? Do you think that that's going to matter? Do you think it made a difference?
It really just gave me a lot of confidence to just go out and try something new and work with a new team. So that was really big for me. And I mean, I'd love to do it again next summer if you're ever looking for crew.
And hopefully the skills that you gained, right, would give you, no matter where your life takes you, the confidence to, as I've been telling people for years, people ask me all the time, like, how do you get into sailing? And the answer is simple: you walk down the dock. Mm-hmm. And it sounds cliche and it sounds like, but it's the truth. And what I'm hoping is that by giving you guys some skills, you have that confidence to walk down the dock and say, hey, do you need a crew? Do you need help? And you can say that with confidence, knowing that you know your way around the boat and feeling like you can be useful, because it's intimidating to walk down the dock otherwise, right? And so I'm hoping that that's what I can impart on you guys, is to give you that confidence that wherever you end up, if you see an opportunity for sailing, that you're like, well, I'm up for it, and go insert yourself, because most of the time, the people down there on the dock are gonna be like, yes. Like, what about you, Joe? Where do you see sailing going from here?
Oh man, well, I've already looked at, I'm looking at a few different schools to move on to, and I've already looked to see what sailing they have around
Awesome.
I definitely feel like at this point I could walk down a dock. You know, like I feel confident enough and say like, hey, I have sailing experience. You know, I can pull out some big words. Got 4-deck experience. Got some cabin. I can trim the main. Like maybe.
I mean, I have various friends who have been through like these wilderness therapy sorts of programs, and I think this is like almost just the next step for that. You know, getting into something where you're putting your mind to use, you're putting kind of your troubles away for a minute and just being able to focus on something that's really beneficial to the mind. Yeah, I think almost anyone could benefit from it, to be honest.
A lot of times when you're starting to do something new, there's very little trust put in you, like, or confidence, you know. I never felt at any moment like people weren't confident that I could do it. Even if I was like, I don't know if I'm confident that I can do it, but just having the crew and the captain being like, yep, you're gonna do this, and you're gonna rock it. You're gonna do fantastic. That was like such a bolstering experience, and we did kill it.
Yeah.
I for sure remember just trying to get into the dock and being like,
Yeah.
are you sure? Yeah, and we're getting like closer and closer to the dock, and I was just like so questioning myself. But yeah, I mean, you just put all the confidence in me, and like as soon as you were like, yeah, you got it, I was like, okay, we're doing it. Yeah.
And you drove it right in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everything was
Plenty
fine.
of room. Yeah.